51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, it's time for round number 9 of our Formula 2 Championship at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgium Grand Prix. Guys, unfortunately, you guys will not be seeing my qualifying, my one-shot qualifying. For some other reason, my PlayStation just did not record the qualifying, even though I know I hit the record function. But in any case, guys, let's jump straight into the feature race. Enjoy.
Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today as we prepare for the next thrilling instalment in the Formula 2 race calendar. So here we are again, a whopping 4.35 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today. I'm not the only one sitting here today who's looking forward to today's race. My friend and ex-GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi next to me is already on the edge of his seat awaiting the start of the event. How's it going today?
Hello there, Alex. I'm great, thank you, and very excited to get started. I have a feeling we are in for a very special event today.
Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. George Russell lines up on pole position, with Alexander Albon starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Tete Camara, De Vries, Lando Norris, and Giotto, Latifi, Markelov, Delatraz, Jack Aitken, Galeo, Fuoco, Nurey Fukuzumi, and Meri. Gunter, Boccolacci, Makino, and Arjun Maini. Lorandi and Nico Kari completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, please do me a solid down below. I know you want to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ding the bell. Guys, an easy one-stop strategy going for the contrast strategy, mediums to softs. So let's jump in and jam with me. are you ready for the feature race here at Spa-Francorchamps? We head to 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go for the feature race here at Spa-Francorchamps. George Russell and Alexander Albon are on the front row. As we head into the first corner, a very tight hairpin. Watch out for contact. It's very easy to make contact here. The second Dams driver of Nicholas Latifi was also going for a major dive bomb there up the inside, but we'll jump back to a replay of that in just a second. Heading up through Eau Rouge for the first time in these F2 cars. If you have the perfect line, you can take it flat out, but if you don't have the perfect line, you have to lift going over the crest of Eau Rouge. Otherwise, you will run wide and get a track extension. Heading down the back straight, it is Alexander Albon going for a move for the lead on George Russell, heading into the chicane. George Russell is on the inside for the first part, outside for the second part. Here we go, but I think George has just got the drive and he defends P1 from Alexander Albon. My championship rival is trying to do everything to get past George here. George goes defensive once again, getting into the downhill hairpin. As we jump back to the start of the second Dams driver, Alexander Albon's teammate, Nicholas Latifi. It's a very great start. You guys can see I am right ahead of him with Luca Giotto on our left-hand side. Into the first corner, you guys see I try to defend from Latifi. Sorry about that, a little bit of a frog in my throat. But I get the drive coming out of the hairpin, heading down the hill. You guys can see my teammate is also just ahead in Sergio Sette Camera, who is right behind Nick de Vries. As we head up through Eau Rouge, I give Nicholas Latifi the pinch, and he has to let me go. We are now right behind our teammate and Nick de Vries, heading down the back straight. Are we going to try and mount a move? I don't think so, because Sergio has got the drive on Nick. They park both cars on the track. I try to have a look on both sides, but there's just no place to go, and I have to fall in behind these guys. You guys know that I am on the contrast strategy. These guys are on the softer compound. I am on the harder compound. So all I've got to do at this stage is stay with these top 4, not necessarily go for the overtake, but just try and stay with them for when they come into the pit lane. I can bolt and try and put in 2 or 3 quali laps and then pit for my pit stop and try and get a very, very good overcut. But as you guys know, the undercut on the F1 2019 game is already powerful, and now you're in F2 cars, which is only a one-stop strategy, where the overcut is very, very powerful. At certain tracks it's a bit OP. But in any case, guys, as you guys see, we're heading here through the second sector, nearly entering the third sector. We are keeping up with the guys in front, but I can feel the lack of grip that these, I think they are medium tires, I'm not sure. It's the 2018 spec F2 tires, guys. So I'm just going to talk about the white wall tires being the mediums and the yellow ones being the softs. If I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments down below. But you guys know now how I'm going to refer to the tires. On the mediums, as you guys see, we're heading through the third sector. It's almost basically flat out until we get to this final chicane, the bus stop chicane. We are under pressure from Nicholas Latifi, who is in P6 at this stage. We are in P5. So everything is looking juicy at this stage, and now we jump back to the POV of Alexander Albon, or not. Well, we are going to the POV of Alexander Albon as we go to the end of lap 2. No, this is not lap 2. I think it's actually the end of lap 4 as Alexander Albon dives it into the pit lane to go for the big undercut. I think I got lap 4 or lap 5. I didn't watch Alexander Albon's steering wheel, so I didn't see exactly what lap time it was. But in any case, we head into the pit lane, and now it's Albon and my teammate Sergio Sette Camera, who is the second car into the pit lane. Guys, I am a Carlin driver as Lando Norris, and Alexander Albon is in the Dams team. And guys, look at that. The 2 pit boxes are literally alongside one another. So the 2 rival teams in the Constructors and in the Drivers' Championship are right next to each other. But guys, look at that. Sergio Sette Camera has jumped Alexander Albon, who got held up in the pit lane by other cars. So that means Alexander Albon is now down to, what's that, P4? That's if Sergio does not pass Nick de Vries. So Albon went from P2 to net P4, but we'll see what happens when we get to the end of the pit stop phases. And as you guys see here, this is the second Dams and Carlin cars, myself driving as Lando Norris and Nicholas Latifi. Guys, I could feel that these mediums were not as effective as the softs at the start of this race, but guys, at this stage the softs were going off. I just think Nicholas Latifi really was going for this lap, because I am actually sure that this is his in lap, but I just tried to let him pass. But as you guys see here, as we go through the next corner, I've got the superior grip because their tires are starting to fall off of the cliff, and now my tires are starting to come into their prime. So I couldn't stay behind him. He would have held me up for the entirety of the third sector and basically half of the second sector. So I couldn't let that fly. I took the position back, went a little bit deep into that chicane, but not too bad. We are now ahead of Nicholas Latifi, and now we jump to the leading two, who are George Russell for ART and Nick de Vries, I think, for Prima Racing. I'm not sure if it's Charouz or Prima, but I think he drove for Prima last year. Guys, remember, I only started watching F2 this year, so the 2018 F2 cars are still a little bit blurry in my memory, but I think Nick de Vries drove for Prima, and I know George Russell is in the ART. So in any case, going into the bus stop chicane, they are definitely coming into the pit lane as they dive it in. You guys can see that Alexander Albert and George Russell did make contact there. There's a little bit of side part damage, well, paint damage basically, on George Russell's car. So this is going to be ART pit crew versus the Prima pit crew. Let's see who can get their cars out faster, whether it's going... Oh, even Alexander Albon. Nicholas Latifi, the guy that was battling me, is in there in the background. Here we go. George Russell is in. Guys, I don't know why the F2 pit stops are so much slower. I'm sure it's the way they do it, but... Okay, there's only one mechanic per tire, but sometimes it just feels to me like they are slow on purpose. But in any case, guys, coming out of the pit lane, George Russell is now in P2. Remember, guys, I'm on the contrast strategy, so I'm leading the Grand Prix at this stage. It is Alexander Albon... George Russell at P2, Nick de Vries P3, Sergio Sete Camera P4, P5 is Alexander Albon with Luca Giotto P6, P7 there is Nicholas Latifi. So it's looking juicy, guys. Heading on to the end of lap 7, the start of lap 8, guys. The end of lap 8 is the lap I will be coming into the pit lane, so this is going to be my final flyer. So at this stage, I am leading the way, still yet to pit, but it's me driving as Lando Norris leading the way from George Russell in P2, guys, as he just enters the bus stop chicane. So George Russell is in P2. P3, I still think it is still Nick de Vries. Yes, there we go. There's the number 4 Prima car. Nick de Vries is now in P3 with, I think, Sergio Sete Camera on P4. Yes, it is my teammate Sergio Sete Camera on P4. Alexander Albon is in P5 with Luca Giotto in P6. There's Albon and there's Giotto right behind him. P7, it is actually, I think it's Jack Aitken in the second ART car. Oh no, it's Louis Delatraz in P7. P8 is going to be Nicholas Latifi in the second Dams car. P9 we are going, then it is Jack Aitken in P9 who is pressuring Nicholas Latifi, and P10 I have no idea who that is because I don't know who the number 21 car is. But in any case, guys, as we head into the bus stop chicane come the end of lap 8, it is now time for us to dive into the pit lane and see where we come out. Guys, the last 2 laps, even though my tires had still sufficient grip left, I just couldn't match George Russell and Nick de Vries behind me. They were just like 3-4 tenths a lap quicker. So I think I did bottle the strategy a little bit, but I didn't lose as much as I could have lost. I was still really consistent. I think from when they pitted, the entire time I was within 1.5 tenths of my fastest lap time, just 1.5 tenths slower. So anything with 1 to 1.5 tenths slower. So I was really consistent. I just couldn't get a fastest lap back then. But as you guys see here, my teammate takes P3. Alexander Albon is now P4. P5 is Luca Giotto. P6 it is myself. So we've got a chase down from P6, but now we are on the superior, softer and fresher tires. So as we head on to lap 9 of 13, we are right behind Luca Giotto and my championship rival Alexander Albon. As we head through Eau Rouge, you guys can see the grip is just so much more superior, and I know those guys lift through Eau Rouge. I don't know why, but there's no reason to lift through Eau Rouge. You just have to have the right racing line. Going right behind Alexander Albon, who does not have DRS, and we are going for a double move on these 2 drivers, but it is very tight between myself and Alexander Albon. As he just gives me the squeeze, guys. I fall in behind Alexander Albon. Ooh, there's a big kick of oversteer coming out of that right-hander. Going into the hairpin, I try and move around the outside to see if my superior grip is going to have me, but this downhill hairpin, it is one very hard corner to overtake around the outside. Once again, Alexander Albon gives me the squeeze, but now we are right behind him going into this, well, the fast part of sector 2 of the track, and now my superior grip is going to talk volumes over those medium tires, which are already worn on Alex's car. You guys can see through the corner, I just close up on him. I go to the outside, and we go a little bit onto the grass, bounce the car over the curb. We are on the outer for the first part of the chicane, on the inside for the second part, and that is a beautiful move done on Alexander Albon, who is now under pressure from Luca Giotto. But we are no longer going to stress about these 2. We are now setting after our teammate Sergio Sete Camera to try and bank a podium here. I don't think we're going to have the time or the pace to catch George Russell and Nick de Vries. We might have the pace, but I don't think we're going to have enough time, guys. This track is just, because it's such a long track, the laps are shorter. So yeah, we are now on lap 9 going on to lap 10. That means there's 4 laps left, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I will not be able to catch George and Nick in just 4 laps. You guys can see as we head on to the final lap, I've only now caught up to my teammate Sergio Sette Camera. So it's going to be a Carlin battle for the final podium position. Myself, the championship leader, on a softer tire against my teammate who was on a harder tire. And guys, I was correct about the tires. They are the softs and the mediums. So thank goodness I did not mess that up. Guys, this is the line through Eau Rouge, which you can take flat out. You guys see I don't lift at all. And then it's a smooth run through Eau Rouge, flat out in these F2 cars. We open up DRS as we try to close up to Sergio Sette Camera. I don't think we're going to have enough time or space come this corner. No, we back out of it. We close up on Sergio in the braking zone, but that's just because we were on a much higher top speed. Guys, the only place I can make a move is that final sector 3, that very fast section until we get to the bus stop chicane. So I really have to make sure that I stay on the rear end of Sergio. Otherwise, I will miss out on the podium here for the feature race at Spa-Francorchamps. I really need to be smooth through here. Guys, also while I was driving this race, I couldn't stop thinking about Antoine Hubert. You guys know this year's the 2019 F2 Spa GP didn't even start properly. So I think this is also a race that this is the entire video is going to be focused, not focused, but it's going to be done for Antoine Hubert. So guys, as we head into the third sector, away from the sad stuff, we have got 1 sector to go. We've got 1 last chance to overtake Sergio here. We have to get the best possible run through this next left-hander and onto the flat-out back section of the track. There you guys can see Nick de Vries is miles ahead of myself and Sergio. You guys can see I'm tucked up behind in the slipstream. Remember, these F2 cars have no special fuel mixes. They have got no electric energy. It is just the car itself. Guys, we pulled to the outside, heading into the bus stop chicane. We are late onto the brakes with our superior grip around the outside. It's the final corner. We take P3 from Sergio Sette Camera. He is not going to be happy, but that is the 3rd place. Yes, baby.
Yes, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. Great drive. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff from ART today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car that works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ART GP winners today. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lando Norris, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I'm going to go for Tadasuke Makino. People have suggested before he can't race wheel to wheel, but as he's shown today, it's nonsense.
And here's how things are shaping up in the teams' championship. Carlin have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, Prema have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way to the top. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care. We're returning after yesterday's feature race for the final event of the weekend, the sprint. Down on the grid below us, the drivers are spending their last few minutes getting ready. Very soon, they're going to kick this race off in dramatic fashion. Alongside me today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. There looks to be a challenging race ahead of the drivers today, Davide. With that in mind, what are you looking out for today?
Well, Alex, I want to see how the drivers at the back of the grid are going to roll down. They'll need to make an impact in the early stages, and they're probably hoping for a bit of luck at the start. We may see some bold maneuvers out there today.
Okay, remember to brake early for turn 1, as the pack's gonna bunch up. There's plenty of runoff if things get too close.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, we are here for the sprint race. Guys, we just got third place. I believe that we had the pace to win. Just our strategy was not the right one. I think if we went on the same strategy as the AI, we would have done a lot better. But still, P3 is P3, and I finished in front of my championship rival. So I'm not complaining a little bit. It was a good race. But let's see if we can actually bank another podium come the sprint race. We start P6. And now we're going to have to work a lot harder for this race victory. We've only got 9 laps because it's the sprint race and Spa is so long. 9 laps for the sprint race. We head to 5 red lights and it's go, 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 and one extremely long hold. Okay, we are off for the sprint race, guys. No pit stops, just pure racing for this race here. Jack Aitken, and I think it's Louis Delatraz in second place, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is Louis Delatraz, the number 20 car. And in third place, at this stage, it looks like Luca Giotto and Nicholas Latifi in P4. Going through Eau Rouge, Louis Delatraz takes the lead away from Jack Aitken. And that is now Louis Delatraz leading the way from Jack Aitken in second, Luca Giotto in third. You guys see there in the background, it is actually myself challenging Nicholas Latifi, as well as my teammate Sete Camera is right behind me. We are almost 4 wide heading into this next corner. We are 3 wide, but the whole grid is bunched up. We get held up by Luca Giotto, who tried to move on Jack Aitken, and that has also let Nicholas Latifi go into P3. So we had the potential of P3, and now we're all the way down to P5, but it's still 1 position better than we got than where we started. So as you guys see, I take a very wide line through the first corner. I was a little bit late onto the brakes, but I passed my teammate, which gets me into P5. We go down the hill, ready to go through Eau Rouge, and as you guys see, I don't seem to have the speed, but as these guys get held up, I go down to 5th gear as we head through Eau Rouge. That is Jack Aitken, who was backing out of the move, which he tried on Louis Delatraz. As you guys see, I'm side by side with Nicholas Latifi. There goes Luca Giotto pulling out of the slipstream to try and make a move on Jack Aitken. And right here, just Luca Giotto misses his braking spot. He goes a little bit wide, and because I'm behind him, it just holds me up. So, we go for the inside move on Luca Giotto, heading into the right hand, and what a beautiful, stunning move. Woo! Okay, we are not P5, we are P4. That was an absolutely stunning move on Luca Giotto. So we've gone from P6 all the way to P4, but this is going to be a very hard race. We've only got 9 laps. We've only got 18 attempts to get to the lead, because there's 2 places on this track where you can really overtake. Otherwise, you really have to go for a major dive bomb. As you guys see, I'm still behind Nicholas Latifi as we go through the flat out sector 3 as we're heading to the bus stop chicane. Heading to the bus stop, you guys can see I'm very late onto the brakes because these guys are holding each other up. I go for a major dive up the inside of Nicholas Latifi. It's a beautiful, beautiful move around the outside. I don't know why Louis Delatraz came into the pit lane. That was a really, really stupid strategy. But now it is Jack Aitken ahead of us. So we have gone from P4 to P2 thanks to some cars going for a pit stop strategy. I do not know why they're doing that. To me, that's a very stupid strategy. And Louis Delatraz has just thrown away a potential race win and a potential podium, even if he didn't get the race win. Guys, heading through Eau Rouge, we are trying to catch up to Jack Aitken. We have a beautiful run through Eau Rouge, and we are going to have DRS now as we head down the back straight. Let's see if we have enough speed to catch up to Jack Aitken. We are very close, very close, very close. Jack goes defensive. We go around the outside for the inside for the second part of the chicane, but we close the door in Jack's face before we even get to the second part of the chicane, and that is us into the lead of the sprint race. This race has started really, really good for us. But now, because Spa is such a slipstream happy track, we are now the car being under pressure from the guys behind. You guys can see there's another car coming into the pit lane. So now it is actually myself and Jack Aitken battling for the lead. Jack goes to the inside. I keep my outside line on the racing line. Oh, Jack clocks up, and that's nearly contact between the two of us. I was really fortunate to actually avoid that. It is now Nick de Vries in P3. I need to watch out for Nick de Vries. He is also going to want to go for a win here. But as you guys see, heading through Eau Rouge, we are right behind Jack Aitken, but now that was actually played into my hands perfectly. We are going to be right behind him as we get to the DRS detection zone, and we are clean past Jack Aitken before we are even close to the chicane. But guys, that has been basically that. Guys, we head to the final lap, the final time as we go to the Bishop chicane. Jack, he pressured me all the way till the final corner, but guys, that is going to be the win here for the sprint race. A lot of wear on our tires, but we take the win for the sprint race. Get in there, lad!
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
Carlin have pulled off a sublime performance to secure the top step of the podium today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Lando Norris, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Sean Galeol. Consistency, good battles, sensible driving. He can be pleased with that performance today.
On to the teams then. Carlin have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Another team that will be satisfied with this race is Charouz, whose good result moves them further up in the championship. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Guys, what a weekend here at Spa-Francorchamps. Guys, I'm just going to say this. This was for Antoine Hubert. I know I already did a tribute video, almost a 45-minute video for Antoine Hubert of my F1 2019 career mode when we drove at Spa. A brilliant race that we had there. But I think taking a win here in the F2 cars, the cars that Antoine last drove, it just makes it a little bit more special. So this was really for Antoine. And yeah, the sprint race is completely dedicated to him, as well as the feature race where we got a podium. A very, very healthy weekend indeed, guys. The championship is now looking, it's fingertips away. Guys, if we have another good weekend in Italy, it's basically done, because the only tracks that are left, we have got 3 rounds left. Monza in Italy, Sochi in Russia, and then we go to Abu Dhabi for the final one. So guys, the championship, it looks already sealed, but never say never. In motorsport, anything and everything can still happen. Guys, remember what happened to me at Silverstone. Anything and everything can still happen. We have to stay consistent. We have to make sure that we don't mess up and don't get too comfortable too quickly. Otherwise, we will maybe just sacrifice this championship at the last round. But guys, let's hope we can stay consistent. Guys, going through both races, the feature race, I really felt that I had the pace to go for the win. My strategy just did not pay off, but you can't win them all. I like the contrast strategy of the F2 cars. At some tracks it works a dream. On other tracks now again, it's quite hard to pull off. So you really have to drive smart. And with Spa being such a large circuit, it is hard to be consistent around here. It's very easy to make mistakes around here, especially in these F2 cars, which I feel are harder to drive than the F1 cars, even with them being slower. Because these cars have so much less downforce than the F1 cars, sometimes they just don't want to turn in, and they are really, really manipulative, these cars on the rear end. Listen to why I say that. Sometimes you drive these cars and you feel you've got a ton of grip, you put your foot down and the car will just completely spin, and it will actually spin out, you will lose control. Other times you feel like there's going to be no grip. You take the corner with a lot of caution, and the next thing you know, the car just has tons of grip and you lose a position, or you lose time in qualifying or practice or whatever. So learning to drive these cars are very hard, and with me experiencing these cars for the first time properly on these racetracks, my knowledge is just not that good to know where at certain places I can push and other places where I should back off a bit. But Nevertheless, once again, a very, very successful weekend for the Carlin team. Like I said, guys, I don't think Alexander Albon, if we can stay consistent, I don't think he's going to catch us, even if, unless he wins every race from now on in. That's 6 races left, plus qualifies P1 every time. Remember, for qualifying in first position, you get 4 points. For the feature race, you get 25 points, which means if you get fastest lap as well, it's 27. And for the sprint race, you get 15. If you get the fastest lap, it's 17 points. So if he doesn't win everything from here on out, I don't think he's going to be able to catch us. So the championship at this stage, it's going to be a hard fight for Alexander Albon. But like I said just a few minutes ago, you can never, ever just say it's done and dusted until the fat lady has sung, guys. You guys saw how almost I lost my F1 2018 second season of the championship due to just not qualifying good. But guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Don't forget to ding the bell, and I'll see y'all for the next round in Italy. Cheers!